Hi, welcome back to my channel. Let's get on to the Total Tarot, parts 48, 49. I haven't done this for a little while, so this is a recap. For those of you joining me for the first time, Total Tarot is a subscription, a magazine subscription, and with each magazine you get half a pack of tarot cards. So you don't get to choose what you have, because obviously it's all predetermined. And we are now on to parts 48 and 49, and I've been collecting since part 1. I have mine sent through in the post, and therefore, I pay a monthly subscription. So it's not even monthly, actually, it's 28 days. Every 28 days, I pay for 2 magazines and 2 halves of the deck. And within this, I then also get to collect, with part 1, you got the start of, this bag came further up in the collection, but you got the start of the Golden Art Nouveau tarot deck, but it's a large size, an unusual size. And I am now, so you can see there's like a slight difference in the cards. So the very neat cards, that's the major arcana that came with part 1, and then these are all the ones that I've collected along the way with these magazines. So if you're buying this as something from your local newsagents, you would get 1 magazine deck. I'm presuming you would get the box in the first half of the pair. You would get 1 card towards your Golden Art Nouveau deck, and you would get half a tarot deck, which would come plastic wrapped. So I've taken the top half off, but it comes plastic wrapped. So this is how it comes, and it comes your box flat packed. So the box tells you that it's Total Tarot. It tells you what the deck is inside, and usually, yes, there we are. It tells you which magazines correspond to it, because there's stuff in the magazines corresponding to the deck. So all you do is pop your deck, and the base pops out. So I think that's a genius way of doing things. And what I like to do when I'm doing this is I actually take my deck out of its foil before I start, and I put my deck together. And you get cover cards with your deck as well. And then I will flip through the deck at the end. The Runik Tarot is one I don't own. I know people who really enjoy it, and I also know people who aren't so enthralled with it. So it's another Marmite deck. So I'm going to be interested to see what I think of it. Runes are something I do not play with, but I like the idea of having a rune if you want one. So here are my 2 Golden Art Nouveau cards that we have in the Knights. So we have the Sword, we have the Pentacles. And the last 2 into my deck was the Wands and the Cups. So we're on to the Queens in the next sections of the magazines. So 4 kind of lunar cycles away from completing my deck. I'll just put that one away so it's all safe. And yeah, this bag is one of the images from the Golden Art Nouveau, and I keep my box inside there because I don't like to get it bashed up too much. And then one day I'll have a full deck to maybe work with. I don't know, because you can't buy this size. That's why I'm doing this. You can't buy this size. Plus, Lo Scarabeo do some very good productions and information, because I have their books that they put out on Kickstarter a while back. You also get your binders every so often, periodically, that's the word. They send out a binder. I can't remember how much these are. I'm not going to argue with them because they're really nice binders. They've got nice hooks that hook your magazines into. I don't think I needed one just yet. I think I may be 4 away from needing it. Actually, I probably don't need it at all, but never mind. I've got one so I can hang over magazines in it if I want to. But yeah, you just have your hooks and your bits down there. And I do have a video showing you how to attach your magazines to the binder should you need it in my playlist for Total Tarot. So here we are, 2 magazines. Let me just get myself centered, and let's find the center a second. Okay, so we're going to start with part 48. And of course it talks about, so you get the first half of your deck is the major arcana up to the 3 of Pentacles. And then 4 of Pentacles back to the end of the deck is that way. So it's a Byline Publishing, although it's Lo Scarabeo decks and information, or in association, sorry, with Lo Scarabeo. Byline Publications are the people who are responsible for this. And periodically, they do also actually have to put the price up. So every so often, probably about every 6 months, as the price of everything is going up in the world, it goes up by about £1. I can't say I have an issue with that at the moment, given the general cost of a tarot deck. I'm getting a tarot deck and 2 magazines, so I'm just like, yeah, Lo Scarabeo decks aren't that cheap. So here we go. We have the journey part 2 with this image here is from the Shaman Tarot, which it tells us up here. So we have some information here. So it's further along the tarot path with, the greater your aurors are when you start reading. So we have the profession, gateway to visual arts, becoming a harmonious reader. And then we have tips like this. So we have focusing out. Savvy readers understand that a tarot practice fosters a sense of belonging to all humanity. It's not just a way to look inwards. Tarot is a reminder that people are connected by similar thoughts, needs, wishes, and desires. So I haven't read this, of course, because this is the first time I'm seeing into the magazines myself. Then we have down here, we have Max coming to join us. And Marjorie. Okay, we're both on the sofa. So, excuse me. So here we have a bit about life and tarot, esoteric and occult studies. So we've got more images here from the Pagan Tarot, which is coming with parts 54 and 55. We have the magical practice, new identities, the healer, and the historical studies. Looking at the psyche, the tarot community, and being able to see beyond. So for those who are new to tarot, sometimes tarot can open up your mediumistic skills as well. So I don't know if that's what this is about, but just the title Seeing Beyond is kind of what that gives me. We have the card in detail with the Knight of Pentacles. The essential meanings being here they've suggested realism and pragmatism for this particular Knight of Pentacles, creating prosperity. He's a really traditional kind of knight, isn't he? He plods along slowly. And then we have some of the symbols in the card, and it gives us some information there about those. Tarot's thematic meanings. So I do like these. So this is picking a specific theme. So here we're looking at the personal life. So we have love, work, and money. We have for divination, answer, a tip, and timing. For psyche and soul, we have self-esteem, meditation, and then spirituality. So meditation, if you want to meditate on the card, creating that like mantra. What the card shows us. So that's very basic there. You could probably even zoom in and read that if you wanted to pause. We have the court card diagram. So this is a diagram that they brought in when we got to the court cards and where they sit. So this one here, the knight sits in potential and assertiveness. So that kind of active energy for the knight. We have emotional action, decide, move, do, believe, conclude, risk, exposure, progress, choose, fight, and break up. Then we have the practicality of it with the physical, things, reality, objects, substance, truth, stability, robustness, reliability, perseverance, and simplicity. And then we have a bit there on assertiveness, and again for potential. Here we have questions. So some questions that you can ask. So do you know your limitation? How do you stay grounded? Do you realize how much opportunity lies around you? Are you willing to pay the price? And have you built a strong foundation? 3 cards in comparison for the Knight of Pentacles, and they are all very different, especially here with Klimt Tarot, look, because they're coming kind of at us rather than to the left or to the right. So that's very interesting in depiction. And we have Tarot of the Angels here with parts 34 and 35. So I already have that one. So that must be this one. And this one, the Worth Tarot, yeah. I am eyeballing the Worth Tarot, I have to say. And then we have the traditional readings of upright and reversed. And then we have the other versions of cards here, different imageries and how they bring the different meanings to the meaning of the Knight of Cards. So from the John Bower Tarot, which is a gorgeous piece of art deck, Take Your Time. From the Neferatu Tarot, Pride of Prosperity. That's a very prideful horse. From the Pagan Tarot, we have represents Apprentice of Earth. From the Universal Celtic, which came with parts 16 and 17. That one is for Harmony of Elements. With our Universal Fantasy Tarot, this one gives us the King of the Little World. With the Fae Tarot, this one represents the joy of returning home. And then we have here Silver Witchcraft Tarot, which is a really cool deck actually. Focused, slow and cautious. And then with our Tarot of the Pagan Cats, we have Careful Positioning. So, and then we have the Bouquet Spread. So as you can see, this is your flowers, here's your kind of tie, and then your stems popping out the end, for those of you who wonder why it's called the Bouquet Spread. So it uses the language of flowers to help people understand the inner workings of a relationship by calling them just flowers, not particular flowers. No. So card 1 is the first flower, card 2 is the second flower, card 3 is the third flower, card 4 is the ribbon, and then we've got the, I'm guessing if I turn the page, stem and stem. Number of cards, we have 6, major and minor, so it's a full deck spread, this one. Objective, to help the querent understand their feelings, both obvious ones and the hidden ones, and prepare them to accept the advice offered on the cards. Okay, highlights the querent's feelings and goes some way to unearthing their deepest roots. That's some big claims there. Oh, that's really interesting. Okay. So 5 is the stem, 6 is the advice card, excuse me, so not all those. And this is the Harmonious Tarot, which I already have. That's a really nice deck as well. Gives us a synthesis, and then we have here the language of flowers. So, sorry, I'm doing this a lot in the camera, aren't I? That's really annoying. Right, so here we have the major arcana, flowers, and meanings. Is this to the, so for the world, we've got the rose as the associated flower, and the meaning here, it says endless love. That's interesting. The sun is the sunflower, yeah. I usually associate sunflowers to the sun. Perfect love. Let's see what the lovers are. The lovers is Wisteria, patiently waiting. Hermit, Edelweiss. Is that right? Edelweiss, Edelweiss. Feeling shy and tenacious. The wheel, Viola, timidity. Justice is Daisy, a preference for someone. Hangman is a poppy, repentance. Very, very curious indeed, the language of flowers. That's probably something I will copy out and put somewhere. So, you know, there are things in here that we can move on and take with us. We have the Tarot Deck Library here for the Runik Tarot. Inspiring a magical deck, Runik Tarot can open doorways into a new way of looking at the world. It combines the 2 divination systems, runes and tarot, into one unique deck. Both systems are fantastic tools, allowing people to gain insight into themselves, their situation, and their lives. Then it tells us about runes, runic meanings. The concept behind the Runic Tarot was developed by Jack Sephiroth and Alan Dempster. Sephiroth was also responsible for the deck's remarkable artwork and design, while its author was Jamie Elford. The artist and writer also created the Heaven and Earth Tarot for Lo Scarabeo together, which I like the fact they're putting this in. I don't remember seeing it in the early magazines, but actually I think they could probably afford to put that on the box as well. The creators, the artists, just to give them some acknowledgement to their part in this deck being created and able to be sold. So here we have the Major Arcana, all the meanings. What should we look at? What can I see close to me? The wheel, upright. Enjoy what time you have, life's cynical nature, good fortune. Adapt to external forces, reversed. Resistance to change, bad fortune. Learn to ride the waves, inability to move. Then it has a rune, which looks like it's going to be Perthro. Chance, fate, opportunity. And the god related to the rune, I guess, is Norns, Erd, and Vathandi. So again, not very familiar with Vikings, so it's going to be interesting. Here we have a little look at a card in detail. I'm not sure what card we're looking at. It's 8 of something. Can't tell if that's wands or discs. Oh, 8 of horns. It's none of above. It's the 8 of horns. So cups. Example of how to read the Runik Tarot: study the imagery, storytelling in the card. One might describe the illustration in the following way. A small squirrel holds a tiny drinking horn and it swiftly rushes up the side of the Yggdrasil, looking for both safety and a place to hide. A rune appears to its left. Down below there is a different scene. 7 horns create a barrier between the serpent and the world tree. 1 horn is missing. A rune appears to hover above a group of 3 horns. A snake rampages around its mouth. Its mouth is wrapped around a wooden branch or root. A rune appears to the right. Oh, so it's storytelling its way around the card. Sorry, it just took me a while to work out. I was trying to look at what is going on in the card and what I'm trying to read at the same time. Snake, so its mouth, wooden branch, but the rune appears to its right. Think about what the card says to you intuitively. Then compare your reaction to the keywords and the message given by the card's bind rune. For example, the keywords include the advice to seek higher ground, while the bind rune asks you to apologize so you can move past the disagreement. I think I'm being a bit... Where's the bind rune? Am I reading... Not a rune person, clearly. Am I reading 3 runes together to create a bind rune? And do I read them in the order that I read them as I look around the card? Does that make a difference to how the bind rune reads? For those of you who know so much more about this than me, pop it down in comments below and let's teach each other. Then we have the minor arcana here, keywords all on this page. And we have the picture reference for the majors. So anything else exciting on this page? Practice makes perfect. It's been saying that for a while now, hasn't it? Turn to page 14 to 17 to read about the Runik Tarot, explore the first part of the bouquet spread. Not a lot really there for me to take, so okay, we'll move on to the next one. If I'm not taking too long, we might try that bouquet spread out. How about that? Put that over there. Okay, so here we go. Magazine 49, the advanced meanings. Ideal way to link a card with querent question. When to use. Readers should decide if and when to use advanced meanings and choose which of them to consider. So basic meanings don't seem to respond to the question. Analysis of the connection between the cards. We've got the basic meanings feel too restrictive. The reader experiences difficulty establishing a connection between basic meaning and the querent question. Esoteric meanings. Alongside advanced meanings, those of an esoteric nature can also prove useful in readings. Readers who have an interest in disciplines such as astrology, Kabbalah, alchemy, for example, can use them to integrate extra information and guidance into their own interpretation. Lots of readers do that, as well as then creating their own meanings once from what they've kind of picked up and learnt on the way. That expanded ability to read the cards. And the Radiant Wise Spirit with parts 2 and 3. So we know we have that deck. Adapting the interpretation, so it tells us how to do that, or tips on how to do that. It gives us tips on how to use thematic meanings given in the card. What do we have here? Going deeper using advanced meanings adds depth and nuance to the interpretation of the cards. Did you know? Now here we have meanings relating to private life, so it gives us some practical tips. Meanings relating to divination, and then we have meanings relating to soul and psyche here. Combining the meanings to give a fuller reading for the card. Looking for answers, advanced meanings can help you find them when basic meanings are drawing a blank. So for example, that reading I just read out for the 8 of Cups. So you could read that with just the 3 keywords that you want to use for the card, or you could expand it into the emotional state of the suit. Or you could then, as it was doing with all the bind runes and the picture, like bring all that into the talk of the card. So you can go from a 15-second answer to a card to, the sky's the limit. Many tarot readers say they could talk about some cards for days. So depending on how it fits with what's going on. So what do we have here? Example, the Fool. The essential meanings: innocence and journey. Keywords: folly, inexperience, potential, belonging. Examples of advanced meanings in love. It expresses extreme idealism or total indifference. This card can represent a consuming passion that may suddenly turn into indifference, typical of the Fool's fickle nature. Then we have it for work and we have it for money as well. Card in detail, we have our Queen of Pentacles, taking care of the little things and the symbolic information to go with it. Our thematics for our Queen, what we see in the Rider-Waite version or the Radiant Wise version of the card. Our Queen sits in experience and receptiveness on our court card diagram. And then we have over here, so we have the Worth Queen, we have the Angels Queen, and we have the Klimt Queen. Traditional and upright and reverse meanings. Questions to ask if you do pull the Queen. How do you care for yourself and others? Do you like how your home looks and feels? Because, of course, Pentacles is about material wealth, material gain, home, hearth, health, work, family, objects. How do you keep yourself healthy and happy? And health. And how do you cherish others? Family, relationships, friends. More family, friends, is how I relate it to. I don't really relate it to relationships per se. Now then, what do we have? So other Queen meanings: serene yet ambitious. We have the dwelling of opulence. From the Neferati, we have vice versa, giving us springtime vibes. With the Pagan Tarot, we have practitioner of earth. So she's grounding here, grounding herself. And it looks like she's got, I'm going to guess, a crystal in that hand and her pentacle over there. We have our Fae Tarot is giving us harmony between body and spirit, whereas our Bauer Tarot is giving us the protection offered to those who need it. We've got our Shaman Tarot saying maternal instinct, and then we have the Pagan Cat saying encouraging relaxation. And then breaking down the Spread Boutique. So to give you an example of what they've got. So here's their cards that they've used the Harmonious Tarot for, which actually is kind of has that feeling of like a nice one to use for relationships. I don't know, there's sort of a feeling in the cards. It's a semi-pip, semi-illustrated deck, and I really like that about it, as well as the muted colour tone palette. And then they tell you, so they've got the suggestion. So in place of card 1, the first flower, the Empress represents the first flower. Then we have the card meanings, the Empress, essential meanings, fertility, support, keywords, and in the language of flowers, it would be the mimosa and platonic attraction. So whether you can just read that on the language of flowers alone, I don't know, but I rather like this bouquet. I feel like I should get some flowers for the home, brighten up a bit. Proceeding with tact when you're giving your readings. Problem cards. Oh, the problem cards. Which ones are we going to talk about, I wonder? Sometimes cards appear in a reading that seem particularly difficult to interpret. There are a number of reasons why this can happen and ways to overcome it. So that could be that you get the Tower, the Devil. Tower and Devil seem to be like the main ones, don't they? And the other one people don't like is Death, but I think that one's fine these days. I think we all understand now that one's transition. But the Tower and Devil, I think, are the most, or maybe the Moon might be the other one that's throws out or throws you off your path when you're reading. But anyway, it looks like we've got some tips here to do that. The Middle Path. All cards, however familiar they are to the reader, can present problems, as they can be interpreted in so many different ways, can't they just? So yeah, I read on the Middle Path. So I read both sides of the card and bring it into context for the question. And then we have the interpreting problem cards. How can readers suggest possible solutions to the query when the pieces of the puzzle just won't fit together? I would say pull a few more cards on that card to explore it, expand the card that's causing you the issues, and work out what it's trying to tell you. So here we have, we're back to Tarot of the Forefathers, and we have Gerard Enkhaus, Papas. Ooh. So Pappas continues to apply his mind to linking tarot to the Kabbalah. Here we have letters and symbols, biblical banishments, the Sensius Occultus. That must be like an old magazine that used to go out or something, or a poster at least. Major Arcana, let's just see what this says. Cards 1 to 7 are defined as theogony or divine origin. Cards 7 to 13 are defined as androgyny, human origins. Cards 13 to 19, is that 19? 19 are defined as cosmology, cosmic genius. And then cards 19, 20, and 0 are defined as the moment of spiritual rebirth. Am I reading those right? Is that 20? Why did I think the world is XX1, 21? X1 comes down 1, doesn't it? So that's 19, 9 plus 10. So 19, 20. So where's card 21? Oh, over here. Excuse me. 21. The world is defined as a symbol of the entire universe. Aha. It's like your is it Hieronymus egg? There it is. And then we have the runic pictorials here. Okay, let's get the deck out. It's getting bored and I'm losing the light. So if I take those two cards off, because we know they're there, we know what the standard Lo Scarabeo stock is, one that I actually quite like. There we have the bind rune on the back of this. I cannot remember what this is meant to stand for, but I have read and seen various kind of videos. People talk on it and say that it doesn't actually mean what people think it means, so I'm not going to comment too much on that. I think that's something that allows you to have the wisdom to delve into yourself and deep dive and see what you think. You know, make up your mind yourself. Don't just be led by others. Okay, so Fool. Now I'm not going to know anything that's on these cards, so I'm not going to try and interpret these things. Magician. I like the rainbow in that one. Now he is pointing to, if you can see there, so he is pointing to a rune. So there is a rune in the card. Genuinely couldn't find it in the Fool, but it's probably there, but I can't see it. No, can't see it. Here we have the High Priestess. That's an interesting animal she has in the background there, isn't it? The Empress. Our Emperor, who's wearing his rune by the looks of it. We call it, yep, it's the Hierophant. Lovers. Chariot. Oh, nice, with the two cats. Strength with the polar bear. Hermit. There's a Wheel of Fortune. We've got the Silver Threads of Fate, otherwise sometimes also known as the Red Threads of Life. Justice. I don't think I'd want that wolf coming at me for justice, would you? The Hanged Man. I'm going to guess this one relates to Odin, because Odin, at the end of the day, is the person who hung himself upside down, wasn't it? To gain a different perspective. Here we have Death. Temperance. It's very pretty. The Devil. Kind of like Hush, isn't he? Our Tower. The Star. Our Moon. So we've got a couple of runes in this one. The Sun. Judgment. Again, we've got a couple in here, so we've got 1, 2. Our World. And then we're into the One of Horns cups, hence the water. So I'm going to guess that's given this suit away. Here's our Two of Cups, multiple runes, 3. Taking a nap. So I think actually it seems there's our 6. 7 with all our choices. So it is seeming to follow that Rider-Waite perspective. 8 of Cups, usually walking away from something. Here's our 9 of Cups, knocking back the drink, and 10, family parties, emotions running high. Here's our Page. So these are bind runes on these ones. So this is what I recognise as a bind rune. So we've got that one. I have this one. Don't ask me what the bind runes are, people. Our Queen of Cups. And our King of Cups. That's a repeat of the Knight of Cups rune. And we've got dolphins there in the sky. So this must be Earth. Yep. So I'm hammering away on the 3. There's our 4, coveting the monies. 5, needing some help. 6, that kind of like charity needs here. Once you've got the help, here we have our 7. 8, working hard. 9, relishing in what you've built. And 10, again, that family united front. Our Page, our Knight, the Queen, and the King. This time, our Knight and King have different runes. Wands. Uniting. Oh, she looks very not your normal 5 of Wands. That's all I can say. Normally we're kind of all fighting against each other, aren't we? Not usually tied up and being beaten. Another 7, that's like putting yourself on high so you can defend, stand in your truth and defend what you believe. There's our 8, so the message is coming forwards. So we've got the wheel going around in the sky, or 8 wands going around in the sky, creating a wheel. We've got some couple of runes up in there, and I do like the addition of the rainbow actually. There's our 9, and here's our 10. Could we see this as delegation? So sending the power out, sparking out all the colours. It's almost chakras really, isn't it? Sending that out to get rid of the burdens that you're carrying. 2 cards came out, so there we go. So we have the Page of Wands, the Knight of Wands, the Queen of Wands, and there's our King of Wands. And again, they all have different runes this time. So going into our swords, well, it's probably daggers, or no, they are swords, aren't they? They're all swords. There's our 2. Ooh, ouch. 3, 4, 5, 6. It's nice to be heading into the sunset, or I'd like to think it's a sunrise, rise of a new day. At 8. Is there a way out? You're not blindfolded. There's our 9. And that's an interesting 9 actually, because that looks like he's got 9 in the back. Not a normal, I mean, that would be a nightmare, but not a normal 9, is it? And then 10. Okay, so that's quite a cold escalation. So this would normally be a 10. Would you seeing that's 10? Here we've got it's 9, and then 10 is basically the coffins. There is no rising from this by the looks of it, unless we're looking at the coffin sticking out the ground. I'm not sure what all those runes mean, but they must be quite important to this one. Actually, let's just have a look, shall we? See if I can find that. Yep, swords. 10. Letting go. Death connects us all. Reversed. Keep fighting. You are not there yet. The bind rune. Combined the fears and hopes that connect us all and keep us apart. Okay. Then we have the, let's pick these up. So we have the page, the knight, the queen, and the king. So all in all, it's quite a dark imagery deck for those who enjoy Vikings and Nords and Nordic stories and mythos. I think you're probably going to like this one. For people who know how to read runes, it's probably a nice take on a runic deck for you. And maybe if you don't know how to read tarot, this might be the deck that gets you into both. I'm not sure. We're going to have to see how this works for me because, as I said, I don't understand runes. I'm trying, but I don't understand them. And then let's try this spread really quickly. Let's just see, because the deck feels like it has a different meaning here, and this might not be the right deck for this spread. I'm probably supposed to go and get the Harmonious Tarot, but what the hey? Let's see what this one does, shall we? I'm just trying to shake it up a bit, obviously. Just see if we can get a few more mixed up cards so it's not like a solid soup coming out in the spread. All right, let's pull you out. Oops, daisies. I don't know. I guess we need a question here, don't we? Some description. Inner workings of a relationship. Should we have a look at the work relationship, shall we? What's going on in the working relationship? Oops. Well, that one's flown out, so we'll take that as card 1. And that is what looks like the Ace of Pentacles or Shields. And then we want card 2. Again, we've got another one trying to fly out. We have the Magician, and the second card that's trying to come with that is the Empress. Sounds very interesting. Can we fit those on? Then we want the ribbon. Let's just get the ribbon out. Oops. I'm just going to take what drops. So there we go. 10 of Wands. And then we need 5 and 6, don't we? Which order do they come in? 5, 6. 5. And then let's take the bottom of the deck for 6. Oh, 3 of Swords. Ooh. Right, let's just see what we got going here. So I need to get to different parts of the magazine. So part 1, the first flower represents the aspect of the relationship in work that makes the querent the happiest. Pentacles. So let's just see. Now I'm thinking skills, new projects, new learnings, a new way of moving through, working with others, and of course, I guess, work in general. So being able to then provide for my home environment. But here we've got emotional, no, we've got plant your wealth, new circumstances appear, feeling supported, looking for new connections. And the bind rune, growth and wealth to you. So that's 1. The second flower, the querent, represents the feelings that the loved one stirs in the querent. So the feelings that my working colleagues stir in me. So we have the Magician. So I'm thinking that it stirs the ability to be myself and to create my own kind of working patterns moving forwards. And here we have the rallying call, internal will, staying focused on a single cause, Becoming self-mastery. Yeah, that makes sense to me. The rune, it says manas. I can't see the rune. Yes, I can. It's the one that he's pointing to. Manas, ability, community, bonds of family, and friendship. The god is Hendau. I don't know what the god means, but that's there. And then the third flower is fears, and these may concern myself, the work relationships, the future of the work relationships. Pay attention to the way this card relates to the others in the spread. And we got the Empress. Abundance, feeling creative, enjoying the beauty of the earth, loving yourself, feeling happy and fulfilled. The rune is Bouquet, birth, cycles of life, creativity. God would be Frigg for the Empress. For a working relationship, I think that's not too bad. I like the fact that, we have the Empress. I mean, we have a 1, a 1 and a 3. So we're going up. But the creativity elements here, the mastery, and again, skill set, that feels right for work. I don't know how that would sit. I can't think right now if I was doing a love relationship reading, but for work, I think relationship-wise, that's not bad. Let's see what the ribbon has to say. This card represents the aspect that ties the querent to the work relationship. It could be a positive or an unhealthy type of love, an obsession, a multiple dependence, fear, and obligation. We've got 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands. Release. Turn your focus elsewhere. A job well done. The card that represents the aspect that ties the querent to the work space relationship I'm going to use here. So 10 of Wands. I was going to say sharing the load, but a job well done. The bind rune. What you do on earth affects your afterlife. Oh. Okay. Well, I best do the best job I can then, hadn't I? The ribbon. I don't really... Maybe that just doesn't quite fit the question for the circumstance I've laid down for the cards. What do you guys think? It looks like a kind of magician-esque person, or actually it's probably more like Van Helsing with his hat on. Casting some kind of magic into the world, isn't he? He's casting it out. So I can see the repercussions. If we're casting out, I can see that how that comes back to repercussions for the now versus then karma. The stem, card 5, represents something the querent doesn't intend to give up. It's probably something they hope to achieve in the near future. And we've got 7 of Wands. Something I don't intend to give up. Usually, my integrity, usually. So I wonder if the 7 relates to that. Protecting your ideals, call in support, taking a risk, gain the upper hand. No, I wouldn't say gaining the upper hand, but integrity. So if I know it's right and the path is correct and people are trying to take me down the wrong path, I'm not going to give up. I will take a stand and say, no, this is actually the right path here. We're not going to go down that one. So that's for me. And the bind rune says, get rid of distractions and focus on the task at hand. Okay. And number 6, the advice card, the 3 of Swords. Ooh, he's having his head chopped off. At the end of the preliminary reading, after the summary, the reader fans out the remaining cards, keeping them face down, and asks the querent to pick one. Well, I picked the base of the deck for the basic energy here. It has information about the pros and cons involved in continuing to hold on to certain ideals. I don't know if I'm holding on to certain ideals. I mean, I think my ideals are okay. I don't think they're out of balance or out of whack too much. However, this is suggesting that I need to have some difficult conversations with myself. 3, emotional release, physical pain, betrayal. Understand the cycles in your life. So I wonder if cycles in life relates to the kind of ideology behind taking a stand. It's hard reading for yourself, especially on camera and immediately with a deck that you've never used, especially one that you don't know how to use. So I hope you got something out of this. I hope you found it amusing, fun, I don't know. But until the next one, take care. Bye-bye.